Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and once again, I forgot to clear my throat before I started this thing. I'm supposed to be a professional, right? Actually, not really. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I wanted to start out with this. This is from Bloomberg, and I'm going to go. Most of this video is going to be about the case and the hearing that the judge had yesterday. But before I hit it, I want to show you the central banks to increase gold holdings over crisis concerns. Emerging market central banks are worried about everything from inflation to supply chaos. I keep telling you, gold, 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 gold. I don't care what they say about Bitcoin and their drop gold campaign. Gold is where it's at. And that's why Glint is one of my sponsors. That's why the link to Glint's in the top of this description. That's why I'm buying gold in my Glint account, so that it's spendable gold almost every week. Okay, here we go. We're going into the case. Now check this out. This is a great tweet. Those who were in attendance at the Ripple versus SEC hearing today in support of the space. Blockchain Association was not there. Digital Chamber of Commerce was not there. Who is this? Digital Currency Group was not there. Blockchain Advocacy Coalition. I haven't even heard of that one. Let me follow them. Coin Center, we know, is not for Ripple or XRP. And then this one, this is a new one, so I follow them now. But John Deaton was there. Okay? John Deaton, I mean, this guy's got guts. He likes to sit there and have those SEC lawyers looking at him, I guess. But that is good stuff. So all right. So let's get into this thing. And the first thing is that it was really awesome. This is John Deaton's law firm's thread, and I was literally going through this as fast as I could. Whoever's working with John Deaton is pretty sharp, because they were just hitting this like a machine gun and typing out every little thing that was going on. And the last tweet they did was Netburn concludes hearing. I'm not going to go through all these tweets, but the gist of this hearing was that they've said all along that this thing was Bill Hinman's personal opinion. And the bottom line is, and now they're trying to say that he has attorney-client privilege in all of this. But I believe that let's face it, all these lawyers, they get into legalese on this thing. But the bottom line is that the SEC has been caught in one big fat lie. And the lie is that it was Bill Hinman's personal opinion. This thing was never his personal opinion, but they put themselves in a box, and now they're in a lie that they can't get out of. And listen, and again, I'm no lawyer, but I'm going to tell you this. This thing is so dirty at this point. If anything comes out of this case, I already question the state of our country as far as these organizations. It's like corruption's everywhere. If this thing goes anywhere other than this judge getting pissed and getting this thing saying, why did you guys ever come here? I'm surprised she's not pissed so far. If it's anything but that, then we have bigger problems in this country than just corrupt organizations, much bigger. And maybe we do, who knows? So John went on and he did a live stream last night, and I clipped out some of what he and Jeremy Hogan also did. I clipped one of his clips too, because I want the things that jumped out to me. And there's nothing I could think of more than this quote right here with this clip. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. Listen to John. Hold on one sec. Let me hit the old refresh button. Ooh, let's see.
Hearing today so that she could use statements by the SEC's attorney in today's hearing in her written opinion. I have no doubt about it. Mark my word, it will show up in her written opinion. A couple of those comments. Okay. Help me understand what advice Hinman received. What was he seeking advice for? Do you stand by the position last year that the speech was his personal opinion, which never got answered, by the way? The SEC has distanced itself from that speech as his personal opinion. She said that 3 times, maybe 2, could be 3 times. The SEC has said his opinion can't be imputed on the SEC. She slapped the SEC attorney down saying, did you just say in his capacity as director? And then brought out the fact, isn't that inconsistent? And so she was getting statements because she was asking very poignant questions. What advice was he seeking?
All right, there's clip 1 that I found was interesting. The next one is this right here. This was put out by Digital Perspectives. Watch this.
All right, we got a question here. Does the SEC settle if they lose the next ruling? Well, my position hasn't changed, which is, and I know DAI has said this and other people have said this, which is those emails, those comments are never going to see the light of day outside of the SEC's office. And so my position remains the same. When the SEC is forced to turn over those documents, that's when a settlement could happen. If the judge does something which I don't believe she'll do, and she decides to not make them produce the documents, then this case is going to summary judgment. But we just need that to happen. The other reason, Judge Netburn knows that this case is getting appealed, at least to her decision on this Hinman email stuff. That's getting appealed to at least Judge Torres. And so another reason of having the attorneys come on the record and get them committed to their statements on the record is to make it bulletproof.
All right. And then we've also got this clip where he's also somebody's asking him a similar question.
Did today's hearing bring the case closer to settling? I think as long as the ruling comes out, what's going to determine that, everybody, is whether or not Judge Torres would allow the SEC to certify an appeal, which I don't think. I think that the opinion will be bulletproof. Listen, I'm someone who's went on record to say that there's something in those emails that the SEC desperately doesn't want Ripple to know. Again, even if it's just a comment about, well, what about XRP? You know, isn't XRP arguably more decentralized than Ether or whatever? There's got to be some kind of reference that they believe is going to cost them to lose. And if there is something in those emails that costs them to lose, then why would they risk losing when they could go to Ripple and get a significant sum of money for a settlement, and then Gary Gensler could make us all upset to our stomach by bragging how he got one of the largest settlements in SEC history, blah, blah, blah.
That's how I believe this thing wins. I think that Gary is such a twerp. That's the word I use for him. He's such a twerp. He's one of these lifelong bureaucrats that he's only looking out for for his next career move. I'm sorry. And I think he's gonna tell Mary Jo White or whoever he's negotiating with that, well, Mary, you gotta let me have a little bit of a win here. You gotta, I can totally hear it. It's gonna be. I can tell you, he has to settle. He knows he's lost, but I think at the same time, Gary's a hard-headed fella, and I think that you are going to be nauseated because I think that they are going to have to show him the money. But I think that when they show him the money, it's not going to be near what Gary thought he was going to get. But you'll never hear that out of his mouth. I can promise you that. It probably will be a record settlement, but it won't be anything close to what they would have gotten if the decentralized justice of the XRP community had never shown up. I can promise you that. Okay. And John Deaton and Jeremy Hogan and all. Okay. Here's another interesting clip from the hearing.
Why did they bring in a third string lawyer? Okay, listen, to be fair to that attorney, she had a losing hand, right? She was thrown in there She hasn't argued anything that I'm aware of in the past, and she was thrown in there. Now, one thing that I thought of is she doesn't have much experience. If you compare her experience level to Matthew Solomon's, you're going to see night and day. Now, experience is the greatest teacher in life, no matter what you do. So it doesn't mean that Matthew Solomon is that great, better of an attorney. He just has a hell of a lot more experience than her, right? So one thing that I thought of was, all right, we're going to lose this argument. So you go in there and cut your teeth and get some experience under you, and how you respond to a judge. It could have been her first argument, could have been her 100th argument. I don't know, but that's one thing that I thought of. I have noticed that Jorge Tenrero has not been actively involved. Maybe he got promoted and he's doing other things, or maybe he hands it off to someone for the loss.
And I made the point here, my 16-year-old in high school, playing high school baseball now, and the only time they put the third stringers in is when they're losing big or winning big, because that's a good time for the younger guys to get experience. It's no different here. There's a reason that they're putting in these young. There's only a handful of reasons that there could be. It could have just been in this one hearing, but based on what we're seeing out of the SEC, we're seeing all these people quitting, and now they're putting up the young people to do the defending, almost like these other guys don't want their career on the line with this thing anymore. I mean, that's how I would look at it if I was one of them. Now, finally, here's Jeremy Hogan, and he makes a really interesting point and says the SEC might just have lost a winner.
The judge asked, is the SEC taking the position now that the speech reflected the Division of Corporate Finance's position? And the SEC attorney said yes. Now, she tried to equivocate a little bit after that, but the first and the direct answer was yes. And even worse, towards the end of the hearing, when the argument had turned to policy versus legal guidance, the SEC attorney actually said this. Listen to this, quote, "The purpose of the speech was to provide market guidance on how the SEC would treat digital assets." Now, I couldn't believe she said that, and still right now, I doubt that my notes are correct, because this motion was already lost in the first 5 minutes. But those two remarks by the SEC attorney, especially the second one, put the Hinman speech back into play as market guidance and puts it back into relevance. It's like the SEC is having the opposite of having their cake and eating it too. So after today, with the quote that the speech was market guidance, Hinman's speech is back in play potentially as both official guidance as to whether XRP is a security and back in play as to the fair notice defense. And that's how gambits fall apart on you. You have to be very careful what you say when you're online and when you're in court, because that stuff lives forever. And in trying to win a loser, the SEC might just have lost a winner.
That's what I think. I think they lost a winner. But let me tell you what. This is all about those Hinman emails for me. Those secret emails that they don't want you to see, that is everything, because I believe that doesn't just hurt them, as far as there's probably was some discussion of XRP like what John Deaton was talking about. I think it's far worse than that. I think this thing leads all the way back to Ethereum and the boys. And I think that's the reason that they can't. I think that's what leads to all the bad guys in this thing. And they can't open up that can of worms. And I could name names, but I'm not going to. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that those secret emails are everything. Thanks for